Hi guys, and welcome back to my T.E.F.L experiences. So yeah, it's season 2. Season 1 was interesting. It was interesting, but yeah, now it's season 2 of my T.E.F.L experiences. And if you listen to the trailer, you now know that we have some new content or some new topics that we're going to be discussing. So first, just a few disclaimers for anyone who is watching this podcast or anyone who is listening, of course, to this podcast. So first and foremost, all of these experiences are my experiences. Just because they happen to me does not mean it's going to happen to you, okay? So please keep that in mind. Just because I had a positive experience or negative experience doesn't mean that it will also be the same for you. So please keep that in mind, but I will be completely honest with the experiences that happened to me. Also, for those of you on YouTube, I apologize in advance if you are familiar with like my other content on YouTube and you're seeing, this is not going to be thrown together, but I'm going to try not to focus so much attention on this podcast right now because this is more so for me and for those who are really interested in my journey of kind of just growing my brand. I think that's what I would say I'm doing right now. Just trying to see what I can do, especially while we are in this situation that we're in now. Okay, so don't expect all the B-roll and the graphics and the playback video and effects and stuff on the YouTube. So, also, I'm in a room with a old model refrigerator. So if you hear some noise, ignore it. Please, just ignore it. Will be very faint. I have tried recording already while it was doing what it does, but it is not talking right now. So we're just gonna go with the flow. If it does start talking, then I hope it doesn't bother you. All right, and also in this season, I'm going to try my best to keep this at 15 minutes. So when I see myself like at 13 minutes, I'm going to try to start winding it down because I'm sure y'all are aware how much I can talk. And also my chair creaks sometimes. All right, I think that's enough with the disclaimers. So let's get right into it. All right, so if you were listening to season 1, I don't know if you could tell, but basically, I was just rambling. I mean, that's still what I'm going to do now, but it wasn't a lot of, I guess you could say, necessarily beneficial information, just simply due to the fact that all I was doing, I have so many regular students, so the stories that I would tell, they're basically becoming the same, or at least that's what I felt like. I'm talking about the same students all the time. Nothing extravagant really happens, so I don't know. It was kind of just getting boring and redundant for me. That's why I really stopped focusing on it so much. And then just having time to do it. Because, as you know, teaching English, especially when you live where I live, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning. Okay? I'm talking like 4:30. 4:30. And this is the only time it's quiet in my house. Like, I can record and everything. And just some mornings I wanted to go back to bed. I didn't feel like recording. Okay. And especially with YouTube, trying to be consistent with that was a whole nother mess. But I think that's why I mentioned what I mentioned before. The biggest thing, I think I just need to record it and upload it. Of course, trim out the little things that happen. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to have to end up doing. And I do think it's beneficial that I do add it to YouTube, because as we're going to discuss, we might discuss it today, we might discuss it later, but I want to create more. I would like to become a monetized YouTuber. That's one of my goals as a freelancer. So yeah, so I think this is going to also help me in my goal of doing that. All right, so again, for teaching English, I did teach English today. Right now it is 6:56 where I am, and I woke up. Well, Anyway, I woke up at about 4:35, 4:36, something like that, because I had a 5 o'clock class. But I was really happy because I was really excited to see my favorite students again. So I have two favorite students. I think I've mentioned them before in the previous season, but they are just so adorable. They are so adorable. They're two Korean little girls. They're sisters, and the mom is great. Like, I can talk with her because she speaks very decent, or very good English, and we can just communicate, and we can make jokes with each other. Not like the kids are still learning, but it's nice to have a parent that you feel comfortable teaching around, because like today, she and I just love her as a parent. She's the only parent that has ever been this involved, but comfortably involved, if that makes sense. Because you can have those parents that are involved, but they're like breathing down your neck, like, what are you teaching? Why are you teaching this? All this and that. And that can be frustrating. I've never really had that experience, but that can be, I don't want to have that experience. And this mom, she is just so great. Like, she understands her student or her children don't really grasp some of the Cambly material. So she's like, hey, today can we read a story instead? Or, hey, today can we play this game instead? She really enjoyed this game. Or, can you do this? Or, I have some flashcards for you as well. I don't know how other people feel about that, but I just love it, because not only does she just give me those materials because she knows that that is what's best for her children, because she's involved as a parent in their learning, but she also gives me the teaching freedom to teach it in the way that I want to and use it in the way that I want to. So I just love their class, and they had been away on a trip, so we didn't have class last week, and I missed them. So I was happy to have them for class this morning, and I was supposed to have another class, but they decided they didn't want to show up. So yeah. All right, so that's that. Oh, I do want to mention this. I do want to mention the new the new Chinese government policies. My heart goes out to all of you teachers who are being affected by this. I am looking back on the time I was with Palfish, and I see other Palfish teachers that I got to know while I was on the app talking about, oh, we're going to try, because it only affects mainland China. I don't understand. Again, I was also talking to some other teachers, because China is like the biggest customer for online English teaching, especially for the well-paying jobs. Like, Palfish pays decent, if you can get the right incentives and VIP kit and all of that. But for those who, are trying to make a full-time living with teaching English, I feel like a lot of those teachers were teaching Chinese students. So I hope everything works out for you guys. And I hope you can listen. Maybe you can find something that you haven't thought of to try doing to supplement your income. So hopefully it doesn't last long, because like I said, it's so popular in China, but we'll see. But that's why you can also come to Cambly, because Cambly is, it's international. Cambly is international, is worldwide. So a lot of my students, I only have like one student, I think, on Cambly that I teach that's from China on a regular basis. So most of my students are from Korea and Japan and Saudi Arabia, just because it doesn't mean that's going to be the same for you. But anyway, so that's been my experience teaching English so far today, because today is really this is quote unquote my full day for teaching. I only teach like 3 classes at the most on tomorrow, on Friday. Oh wait, you'll be listening to this on Friday. Today is Thursday right now, but on Fridays I have a class with a Chinese student on Palfish, just that one student. And so yeah, I think that's most active day teaching, 4 classes at the most. So anyway, today was my first full day like teaching, and that's all I have to say for this week. So now let's get into the freelancing part because this episode is almost over. And I don't really know as we get into this season. I want to try to see if I can mention like a brief teaching English update, or if there's something like big going on in the teaching English community, make that the first half, and then in the second half talk about freelancing, because teaching English is still what I know about the most. So freelancing, I really got into this because I didn't want to go to college. I still don't want to go to college, and there's so many ways. Like if you take your time to do the research, there's so many different ways that you can still earn money without going to school. And that's how I was introduced to teaching English, and some of these other things that we will be discussing. I think some of the most popular ones as far as freelancing is concerned is like Fiverr and Upwork, those platforms, and we'll talk about those a little bit. But I also want to talk about some of the other things that you might not be so familiar with. Like I know Kindle Direct Publishing with Amazon, or Fulfilled by Amazon, that stuff like that. Maybe Shopify. I really don't have an interest in that. But if it comes down to it, we will discuss it. So, yeah. So I think right now with this season 2 podcast trailer, and I only have like 3 minutes left, I think I want to kind of talk about freelancing with a podcast, because this the Anchor app that I'm using, and please, preferably if you are seeing this on YouTube, please go and like play this on your phone. You don't have to listen to it again if you don't want to, but just play it on your phone, because that builds up the ad revenue. So immediately when you start a podcast on Anchor, you can start earning ad revenue. So how it works is you record an ad advertising for Anchor as soon as you download the app. So Anchor is your first sponsor, and you just make a little 30-minute brief ad. They tell you everything you need to say, and once it's approved, you can start adding it into your podcast like this. So I really appreciate, and also for the YouTubers out there, I just put in a mid-roll, so I can get that ad revenue and also teach you what I'm talking about. So I really appreciate that platform, and it also distributes your podcast like all around. This, I'm not getting paid to say this, but it distributes your podcast like Spotify, Google Podcasts. Let me see. What is Overcast? I think I said Apple Podcasts. And just basically everywhere that most people listen to their podcast. So it's pretty cool, and you can also start earning ad revenue. Like I said, right now I'm at $2, and you can't cash out until you get to $10. So there's that. But I do appreciate it because it doesn't expire. So far it hasn't expired, and it doesn't plan to anytime soon. So I've already rambled long enough. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, this will still be unscripted, still be a casual conversation that I am putting in this podcast and putting on my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please let me know if you enjoy it. There are different ways you can reach out to me. I have my link tree on Instagram and also in my YouTube description below. So yeah, I am going to enjoy this. I'm going to try to be better about uploading. I'm going to try to do this every Thursday if I don't run out of content, and if I have time. If I don't, then I'll put a post out on my Instagram. So be sure to follow me on there at Teacher Daisha. So again, thank you so much for listening. This has been season 2, episode 1 of my T.E.F.L experiences with Teacher Daisha. Talk to you later.